Hey everyone, and welcome to SLM for Dummies, Sales Leadership and Management for Dummies. Anyways, today we're going to talk about that one thing that all outside sales reps have to do, and the managers give us the basics, and then they tell us to go out and do the dreaded canvassing. Yes, no one likes to canvass, or they say they don't. And I'm talking about small business today, not residential, strictly small business. So this is for all you guys and girls that do canvassing for small business. The companies where they fail us is they'll talk about product. This is what we do. This is what we have. This is how much our prices are. They give us all that information. But the one thing they don't tell us to do is how to walk into a small business and introduce yourself. Sure, you know how to say your name. We all know how to say our name. Hey, it's Martina. I'm with ABC Company. But we have a misconception on small businesses. Small businesses are rather pretty easy. And I know we dread it, and it's sometimes people are saying hard, or people are rude, or they already say they're not interested before we walk in the door, or right when we walk in the door. Well, a lot of that will start with first, what are you wearing when you canvass a small business? I mean, that is really key. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. So you kind of want to be a chameleon to where you can, you know, dress according to the area that you're in. So if I'm doing a higher end small business, I'm probably going to be dressed business casual on a higher scale. If I'm in a low end area, I'm going to dress accordingly. The one thing I don't do, and a lot of your small companies will, bark, but they want to give us that famous company T-shirt, the one with the logo, the one that says right here the name of the company that you're with, whether it's a telecommunications company, credit card company, security company. They all want to advertise their name, so they give you this shirt that tells them who you are from the minute you walk in that door. Well, I don't wear one, and I'll tell you why I don't. First of all, it gives the person who's in charge or whomever, they see that logo, they see stuff in my hands, and right away, before I've even opened my mouth, they tell me they already have it, they're not interested, or they ignore me, right? Very few people will let me speak to them because I've already told them who I'm with. You might as well have just held a badge that said I'm with the IRS. They're not interested. They don't want to talk to us. They're just truly, hey, not interested. So my rule of thumb is I don't wear any company logo because I need you to be able to talk to me. Now I do carry my notepad. If I have a computer, I have that, but that's usually in my purse. So girls, we can hide that in our purse. Men, you can hide it in a backpack. You can just walk in, right? And just have a notepad in your hand. Most of the time they think you're there on official business because you're coming in with a notepad. Now, if I do have a company ID to wear around my neck, I might have that on just to, but they can't see what it is. Most of the time they think you're with the state or you're with the city offices doing an inspection, so they're all on their best behavior, so they're more willing to listen to us, to talk to us. But what I typically do is I don't ask for the owner. I don't. I don't ever ask for the owner. I read the room. It's kind of like sitting at the poker table. I read the table. So I walk in and I introduce myself. And usually I start at the door. If it's a small business and I'm walking into a vape shop, there's not but two or three people there. And if there's no one else in the store but the employees, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just walk in and say, hey, how are you doing? And I'd start walking towards them. I have a business card in my hand. And then I walk right over to that person and the person that's looking at me, that's the key. Pay attention. Watch the one that's watching you, or watch where their eyes are going when you come in, because that's how you can find out who's really in charge. So I represent my card and I hand it to them and I tell them I'm Martina. I'm with ABC Company. The reason why I'm here is because. So now I've already engaged them. So in they'll start looking in the room. So if I'm not talking to the right person, you know what they do. It's kind of like a kid. You start talking to them, they start looking around to see, where the manager is, right? So now I direct my conversation towards that person that they're all looking at. So let's recap. I walk in, I introduce myself. Usually, one thing I left out too is if it is a vape shop or something, I always tell them how nice their shop is. I look at a few items and then I'm talking to them. So I just come in as a real person. I could be a customer. They don't know who I am. So I've got everybody's attention when I walk in. So now I'm going to direct my conversation. I'm going to follow the room and I'm going to look for that owner. I'm going to watch the play. I'm not going to ask for a manager. I'm not going to ask for an owner when I walk in because that's the one thing that you can lose business. Because right away, if you come into a small business and the owner's in front of you and you say, "Is the owner here?" 9 out of 10, he's going to tell you the owner, or she's going to tell you the owner's not in. How can they help you? So you've already shut yourself down before you've even got started in the conversation. So what I typically do is I'll sit there and I'll do my script and I'll tell them who I am and this is why I'm here and uh, so forth. And then if they look around and then I direct my conversation towards that person, right? Yeah. So I direct my conversation to the person that they're looking at because the person that everybody's looking at is the one I should be speaking to if I didn't get lucky off the bat coming in, right, and talking to them. So I sit there and I come up to them and then I'm talking to them, seeing how they're going to engage, and you will find that that wall, because they didn't have a company logo, already came down. So now they're talking to me just like a regular person, and I'm trying to address their needs. If I'm there for, let's say credit card company, I'm going to talk to them about the credit card services. Then I've already know who my competitor is in that area. It's very, very key when you go canvassing small businesses, not just to know your product, because that's what they teach you when you're in sales training. They're going to teach you your product. What they're not going to teach you is the products and the services of your competitors. And trust me, you better know your products of your services and of the competitors almost better than you need to know yours, because those are going to be your rebuttals. Hey, I'm with such and such credit card processing. Oh, wow. Okay, okay. Well, now those fees that you're paying at the end of the month, now we don't have those fees, or our fees are about 3% cheaper. So now I'm already talking to them about the product that they have and why our product is better. Also, the one thing I always stress when I go into a small business is I don't just sell the company. See, most people just want to sell the company. I sell me. I sell me. Because here's a great thing. If you're into a small business and you're talking to them and they say they have a service, the first thing you want to do is ask them, who's your sales rep? Who? Oh, you don't know? Well, how long have you had that service? Oh, for 2 years? You haven't heard from them since then? Huh. Well, that's kind of weird. What do you do when you have a problem? Oh, okay. You just call the 800 number. I got it. Okay. So you haven't heard from your sales rep since you've signed up? Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Well, let me tell you this, sir. The advantage of doing business with our company versus any other company out there in the credit card processing is the first thing I'm going to have you do when I get you taken care of is I'm going to have you save my phone number under ABC Company, and then I'm going to have you put my name, Martina. That way, if you forget my name, you still remember it was with that company. Because moving forward, I'm always your go-to. If you have a question, if you need to add a location, you can always reach me directly. This, my friends, is key. Most salespeople drop the ball when it comes to telling them they are their personal liaison moving forward. And trust me, if you're dealing with a small business owner, over 50% are going to add another location in the next year or two. And you want that additional business. So That is really key. One thing different, too, then if they tell me the owner's not in, no matter who I've went through and there's no owner, not a problem. Do you have one of their business cards so I can send them my contact information? Because they're going to ask to take your card. I never leave my business card where you're not willing to give me the contact information. So they'll at least, if they don't give you a phone number directly to the person in charge, they will give you an email address. So then what I do at the end of the day, after I canvass all these small businesses, I send emails out to all the cards that I have stacked up for that day or information that I have received. Because if they don't have a card, I'll write down the information on my notepad. I jump in at the end of my day after I'm finished canvassing, I'm out there, I'm good. Then what I do is in the subject line, and this is real important, I send them all an email. In the subject line, I'll put, "Sorry I missed you today when I came by," which is going to cause them to open it. Then I'm just going to do a brief introduction, why I was there, if I can help them with any of their services moving forward, to just reach out and give me a call. Boom. Or I'm going to have a phone number and I'm going to try that person again. And I'm going to try to call them later that day or the next day. So remember, whenever you're talking to these small businesses, it's real key. Again, I don't wear company logo. Companies give that to us to advertise their business. That's not intended to help us close anything. Now, again, this is just for small business. Residential, you need to have company logo, everything, because now you're going to a person's residence. But if I'm doing small business, I don't wear a logo. I walk in, I'm going to direct my conversation to whomever's looking at me. If they shift their eyes when I start to tell them why I'm there, I'm going to direct my conversation to the person that they're looking at. 9 out of 10, that is the person that makes the decisions. It's either the manager or the business owner. And if the business owner's not there, I'm going to ask for their contact information, where I will follow up and send an email that evening that I'm sorry I missed them. But also, when you hit small businesses, again, you have to remember, you have to know your competitors. Quit worrying about your products. You know your products. You want to impress somebody? Know who your competitors are and why you're the better choice, because that really makes a difference. Now, to the argument where a lot of people go, "Oh, I don't like hitting small businesses. Nobody wants to talk to me. I got to spend 4 hours in the field." Well, one thing about the advantage of hitting and canvassing small businesses is, look at it like this. It's not always, and whenever I've trained people, I've always told them the same thing. The mailman gets paid about $60,000 a year, if that, right? Let's just be honest. So he makes about $60,000 a year. He's got to walk for 5 hours every day, 6 hours every day, whatever it is. And he's got to head every single business. He's got to drop mail to every single location, which means he's went to every single door. Now, if you do the same thing and have the same work ethic as the mailman, and you go to every single business and hit it for 4 or 5 hours every day, depending on your compensation plan, 99.9% of us are going to make well over 100,000. So that means I'm going to do the same job as the mailman. The only difference is I'm holding conversation and trying to get him to take our services. And 1 out of 10 is at least going to say yes, right? And if you're really any good, you're going to start to close that gap also. It's not going to be 1 out of 10. It's going to start to be 1 out of 4, right? And now I'm going to almost double what that mailman's making. And I'm doing the same thing. Plus, I'm getting my steps in. Yeah. So it's exercise too. So don't be afraid to canvass those small businesses, truly. And just so you know, I'm just like you guys. I'm no different than you guys. I was out there Friday working, right? I make phone calls every day. I'm still in the grind. Unlike the sales managers that are sending you out in the field, I'm actually in the field. So I do this because it's my passion to teach other people how to provide for their families, especially in this economy right now. And hitting these small businesses, they're a lot of fun. Sometimes you really meet some really cool people, right? And then what's really cool is if they like you, they're making your life easier because they're going to tell their friends about you. You can ask them if they know anybody. Give them a little stipend or a referral, or if your company has an ambassador program, you set them up with that too. So there's so much you can do with small businesses that you can't do with residential. Small businesses, you can get more referrals. You can turn them into ambassadors, as a referral program. They're going to probably move into other additional locations. But here's the key. Here's what's going to separate you from everybody else in your industry. And I'll give you a good example. I had a little canvasser one day come to my door. Oh, he was proud. Oh, he was real proud. He was pitching his product. He was with one of the major security companies. So he came and he was giving me his spiel. And I said, oh, wow, I work for one also. And I was at home and he was in the heat and he was walking. And I said, he says, well, I make over $100,000 and I do it. And, every year I make over $100,000. And I said, really? So I looked around, I looked outside, and I looked both sides. I said, huh, you make over $100,000 a year? I said, and you're still a foot soldier? He said, excuse me? I said, you're still a foot soldier? How many years have you been doing this? 2, 3 years? And you're still banging on all these doors, residential, in this heat? He goes, oh, yeah. Well, how do you get your sales? I said, well, I've done my time in canvassing residential, and I still canvass occasionally in small business, but I keep in touch with my customers. He goes, oh, we don't have to do that. He said, this is really proud. We don't have to do that because we have an 800 number. Our customers have any problems, they call the 800 number. So I looked at him. He was a youngster. He's probably late 20s, 30s, maybe. I don't know. But I looked at him and I said, wow. Okay. I said, so after you sell your customers, they never hear from you again? He goes, no, ma'am. He goes, they have an 800 number from the call. And I said, oh, okay. I said, well, that's your first mistake. That's your first mistake. Because, see, my customers will tell you, I reach out to them every 30 days. Not to sell them anything, but to give them some advice, tell them to make sure that their contact information is up to date, to make sure that they've made any changes to go into their apps and to update those changes. And then after I give them some tips or, hey, checking on them because of the rain. Hey, did you weather the storm okay? Everything's still good after the severe thunderstorms we've had. I'll send them those emails. I even do it in a text message. I copy and paste. But what that does is I stay in front of them. Then, of course, I always close out with, and by the way, don't forget, I'm here to help you any way I possibly can, whether it's this location or another. My referral base is extremely high. Even if customers just reply to say, hey, thank you, nothing's changed, that means they remember who I am, they know my name, and if anything comes up, whether it's that location or another location, they're going to reach out to me. And I'll tell you a little secret. If your customer gets mad at your product, upset with services, and they're just pissed, right? They're just pissed, or their billing's incorrect, and they reach out to you, that's not a problem for you. That's an opportunity, because that means this is now where you show them where you've separated yourself like you promised in the beginning. And even though you may not be able to do much, hey, I can reach out to billing, let me find out what's going on. Or, hey, it's a technical issue. We have a 24-hour tech line. Call this number. If it doesn't help, then reach back out to me and I'll make sure I get it to the right hands. So that does wonders for your customers, because there's that trust. Hey, I can call Martina. Martina's going to answer the phone. She's going to reply to text messages. I keep my phone on. When my phone rings and a customer's calling, good, bad, or indifferent, I'm going to answer every single call. You want to be above and better than your competitors, than your colleagues sitting in your office, then you do things differently. Management doesn't tell you all that. They tell you, hey, we have an 800 number, wear a company logo. They have a problem, they can call 800 number. No. Your company wants also the sales that you're producing to include the additional sales. So why give it to them? Let the customer come to you directly. Anyways, that's what I do in order to do really well in small business. Stay in touch with your customers. Always send them something every 30 days. Just a hello, how are you doing? How's the weather? Just something to stay in front of them. Don't try to sell them any additional products. Just advise them on the current ones they have. Because trust me, if they stay in touch with you, if they need additional services or have questions, they're going to reach out to you. So to recap, we walk in the business cheerfully. We say hi to everybody. We watch the room. We watch the play. We hand off our card. We try to find the person in contact. We give them our pitch. If that's not the person, then we're going to get that person's information. We're going to send them that email later. If it is the person, we're going to try to close them on the spot. We're going to know our competitors. So therefore, I've got all my rebuttals down pat. I'm ready. Not every customer's a win, but a lot more are a win if I know what I'm doing when I walk in. Speak clearly, enunciate clearly, use their name. If they have a badge on, or use their name. If they don't have a badge on, you ask them what their name is, and you constantly use their name in a conversation. Always, that is key. Now we're personable, we're friends. We're going to joke, we're going to talk, and I'm still going to pitch you. And I got a really good chance of winning you over. And if not, and you're under contract or whatever, I'm going to write you down when you're out of contract, and I'm going to reach back to you. But after you've done this, and if you get that sale, your biggest thing is to reach out to them every 30 days via email, via text. There's some type of communication that you need to have in order to be successful. So looking up in 2 years from now, you're not working as hard. You're working smarter, and you're making more money because now you've got customers coming to you. And you've earned that because you walked many miles to get those customers and to turn them into friends. Anyways, I hope this information helps. Again, SLM for Dummies. Tell your friends. We'll be doing this once a week. Maybe occasionally I'll jump in between. But next week I'll have something else for you. Remember, like the comments and subscribe. And if you have any questions on how I can help you, I promise this isn't AI. I will reply directly to you. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.